everybody, Brandon Cobb with HBG Capital here, and in today's video I want to go over some of the common terms that we get asked. What does this mean? If you're just getting started in commercial real estate, you've probably looked at some people's pro formas and seen a couple of these things and maybe thought, what exactly is that? But before we jump in, we've been having a one-way conversation. I want to turn that one-way conversation into a two-way conversation. If you've ever been interested in learning more about how you can earn passive investments through recession-resistant real estate, please feel free to reach out to us or go to hbgcapital.net. All right, first question is, what exactly is commercial real estate? So it's kind of given away in the name, but there are some pretty big differences. We're all familiar with 1 to 4 unit single family homes all the way up to quadplexes. That stays in the single family realm. Anything that's greater than that usually is considered commercial real estate, whether it's an apartment complex, a medical building, an assisted living facility, a storage unit. These are all classified under commercial real estate. The second are some common industry terms. The most important that you see on a lot of pro formas is called the IRR. The IRR is basically the rate at which each invested dollar is projected to grow for every period that it's invested. In other words, if you invest, if the IRR is 15%, that doesn't mean you're going to get 15% every single year. But if the whole period is 5 years and you blend the total return among those 5 years and you make 15%, then that would be the target IRR. It's never guaranteed, but that's essentially what the sponsor and operator are aiming to give you as the investor back. The next term is equity multiple. So equity multiple is usually a number followed by like an X, like 1X or 2X, 3X, and indicates basically how much money you could make on your money. If you have something that's less than 1X, then you're going to get back less money than you invested. Not good. If you have something that is more than 1X, 2X, 3X, then that means you could get 2 to 3 times back what you invested. The next is cash on cash return. Cash on cash return is basically defined as the amount of money you receive back relative to your investment every single year. So if you invested $100,000 and you're getting back $10,000 every single year, that would mean you have a 10% cash on cash return. The next question we get a lot is, how do investors make money? So investors make money in 2 different ways. Commercial real estate is mostly illiquid. So it's not like stocks where you can kind of just buy and trade and get in and out really fast. There's usually a hold period anywhere between 3 years and 10 years, sometimes sooner. And you make money through distributions and exits. So normally the way things are set up is an investor will get cash flow distributions along the way, and that comes in the form of rents that waterfall down into the preferred possession of the investor. And then equity accumulates. So as the sponsor and operator are raising rents on the building and increasing efficiency and occupancy and limiting vacancy, the NOI goes up and the value of the property goes up, and the equity increases, including the investor's equity. So when the asset is sold at hopefully much higher NOI and therefore higher value, that equity is then distributed to investors according to the pro forma that is laid out. Next question we get is, what exactly is an accredited investor? And I'm just going to read straight off the script here. An accredited investor is anybody who has made $200,000 or more over the last 2 years and is projected to make at least that this year. Or it can be $300,000 between 2 people, a spouse. So one person, $200,000 last 2 years, spouse, $300,000 or more last 2 years, projected to make that this year. Or their net worth needs to be at least $1 million, and their assets they own needs to be at least $1 million minus their primary residence. Now the SEC has also come out and said that they've started accepting people who have like a Series 6.5 or a Series 7. It's a financial term. You can take these tests. A lot of financial advisors have to take these to get accredited in their industry. But if you're past your Series 6.5 or Series 7, you're considered an accredited investor. I don't know a whole lot about that industry because I'm not in it, but that's what the SEC is deeming appropriate. Next are the different risk profiles. You have core, core plus, value add, and opportunistic. Core would be the lowest risk, and it also usually has the lowest returns. These are usually like the big buildings you see downtown that are already built. Everything's already done. It's turnkey. There's not a whole lot wrong with it. It's cash flowing really well. It's very stable, but it offers the lowest returns. Usually these are, downtown, urban core areas where you'll see a lot of these core investments. The next is Core Plus. Same concept, downtown, urban core, but there is some money set aside for future repairs. And it's not quite as cash flow stable as a core investment would be, because they're planning on doing some renovations, and while that's happening, you're not going to see some income coming in. The next is value add, and this is exactly how it sounds. This would be similar to the apartment complex, which is closed back in July, where you're going in and you're doing some renovation. So that old Lake Forest Apartments that we closed on, we are turning and burning those tenants, and as soon as they move out, we're going in and we're renovating it and we're setting it up. So there might be periods where you can't get the renovations done fast enough, or there is enough vacancy in one time where things might be a little unstable with the cash flow. But over time, these assets produce much, much, much more stable and higher cash flow once they are renovated. The next is opportunistic. Opportunistic is the most risky, and it usually entails the greatest return. So these would be like infill development, something where quite a few things have to go right in order for the investment to hit. So you want to make sure that if you're doing an opportunistic investment, that you are partnering with someone who has a track record that can back up what they're doing, because it could be very, very risky if they don't. The last question we get is, what exactly is a sponsor? So you'll see this term thrown around a lot. Usually there's an operator. Sometimes the operator is the sponsor, but ultimately the sponsor is usually the person who is finding the deal, putting the deal together, raising capital, and helping manage the deal. All right, that's it for today. If you guys have any questions or want to learn more about how you can invest in recession-resistant assets, go to hbgcapital.net or reach out to us. We'll see you next time.